Hello, my name is Ben, and you are watching Pebble for Your Shoe. And before we start today, I just want to kind of just pray. Abba, Hashem, open my lips that my mouth may tell of your splendor. Um, Lord, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, my Lord, my rock, and my salvation. And so I want these words to basically be words that are kind of guided by God, that they would help others. And so I was thinking today, what am I going to share for this week? And I'm going to keep it brief. It's basically just a lesson on humility and humbling yourself and not being puffed up. And it's a lesson about Jacob's ladder and something I personally learned from a friend of mine years ago in synagogue. My friend's name is Dima Berman, and I actually learned a lot from him. And he wasn't a rabbi, um, and he was just one of the guys who was friends with the rabbi who shared a lot, and he had a lot of knowledge, a lot of years of experience. And this is one of the lessons I learned from him. He was talking about Jacob's ladder. And so and that's based on Parashat Vayetzi, which is in Genesis chapter 28, starting with verse 10. And it's where Jacob leaves Beersheba and he's heading towards Haran. And he stays the night at this place, which later on we find out to be called Bethel, or Beit El in Hebrew, the house of El, Beit meaning house, and El is one of the names of God, for Elohim. And it's like El Elyon. Um, and so he rests there for the night. And in his dream, while he's sleeping, he sees the ladder. And this ladder is resting on the earth and it extends up towards heaven. And he sees the angels going up and down the ladder. See, one of the things I learned from this through Dima was that Dima shared, why is it a ladder? Why does God use a ladder for his messengers to go up and down? And, excuse me, he says it's a ladder because it illustrates the idea that sometimes we have to come down the ladder in order to help other people up, right? Some of us were further along in the journey, some of us more seasoned veterans in the faith. Sometimes we have to take a couple steps down, help other people come up the ladder. It shows humility and having to remember where we once were, kind of remember where we were at some point further down the ladder and someone else helped us up. We need to do the same thing. Kind of like the way the messengers, like the angels are messengers of God, and they come down from heaven to help share the message that God has with mankind, and we can follow in their footsteps. That's a valuable lesson that Dima taught me once. Well, not me personally. He was teaching the whole shul, the whole synagogue, but that's something he shared. And yeah, it stuck with me all these years. I think it's been like 15 years since I've seen since I've seen Dima teaching in the synagogue with us. And yeah, it's humility because, it says knowledge puffs up. And sometimes we think we know everything and we might get frustrated with people who don't know everything that we've learned, but we need to humble ourselves. And often have to get the chametz out of my life, the pride, and unleaven myself, and come down and help other people up who haven't quite learned all the lessons yet. Yeah, and it reminds me of a quote from John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach from UCLA. I know, crazy that a USC fan would quote a UCLA coach, but that man was a Christian. He had a lot of wisdom, and he basically says, "It's what the quote goes. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts." And it makes a lot of sense because I used to think when I was a Christian, before I started diving into the Jewish roots of the faith, I used to think I knew everything as a Christian until I started learning from Jews and seeing how little I actually knew. I got the full double portion of this inheritance that God's talking about, and I got to see the Jewish lens on the scriptures, and there's a lot more to it than what Christianity, just plain Christianity, has to offer. And now I feel like I've got a double portion of wealth, because I was able to be humbled by God and learn from my Jewish side of the family, and realize that I didn't know it all. And there's one more quote that I will leave you with. Um, it's in regards to remembering where you once were as a believer, so you can help other people out. And the quote goes like this: "Be who you were. Be who you needed when you were younger, or be who you needed when you were young." And so now that's what I'm trying to do. That's kind of like the purpose of this whole channel, is to be who I needed when I was younger. Freely I've received, so freely I just want to give back. And that's the pebble I have for you today. Bye.